Hello, my name is Angela Crossley Ferez, and I'm the Executive Director of the MPB Foundation. And I just wanted to come to you today and say that I am very supportive of all of the MPB Education Department's initiatives because I see and hear reports of the successes of these programs. And I think the workforce development piece is a perfect fit because education needs to take place at all ages, not just when we're children. This program educates adults on how to grow their skills and develop their personal tools for success in the workplace. This success may be in the form of the best way to prepare yourself for a job search, or improving the skills you already possess so that you advance your career in a current position. But I think it goes further than this. It begins with individuals connecting people to careers, maybe tapping funding sources, improved access, and so forth. But it extends beyond that. When you develop and grow individual skills, which lead to individual advancement, it makes a difference in communities as well. Every community needs a viable workforce that can support not only current, but future business and industry. That's essential for economic prosperity for every community. I think we have multiple examples of that in our own state where communities may be shrinking or dying because they have not attracted new business and industry. But we also see those communities that have made workforce development a priority so that the economic development teams can go out and attract businesses to their areas because they show these companies that they are workforce ready for them to come to their communities. So then you have a domino effect. Workforce development leads to new business and industry, new and better jobs, more money into the community, better real estate markets, more spending, and on it goes. So back to the MPB Education Department's workforce development efforts. These have been useful, I think, because you've brought together various workforce development programs to share knowledge and ideas and strategies. Also, as we know, things seem to be changing daily. And we need education and knowledge from a variety of sources just to keep up. One of the best programs this year, I think, was last month when the hiring crisis was addressed. I wanted to tune into this program because I don't understand why we have this shortage of workers, why the food industry cannot find workers, why hotels and our retail businesses can't find employees. And although the group did not have all the answers, obviously, I think they gave great information and explanations, especially for the hospitality industry, and noted changes that needed to be made in their own workforce development to entice these workers back to the industry and develop workforce readiness to be able to keep employees. And they also offered information about resources that could be sought out and tapped to begin to recover and heal from the past year and improve going forward. Another one of my favorite workforce development programs was our own Claudia Singletary, speaking about grammar, which she called Confessions of a Word Nerd. And I think this is so relevant to workforce development because, as she said, speaking well raises the entire level of a situation, conversation, job interview, or whatever. It goes back to that old saying, you only have one chance to make a first impression, and using proper grammar certainly enhances that first impression. And I'll mention one other of the workforce development programs that I attended recently in your recent programs, and that was Customer Service Still Matters. And this definitely hits home to me because in the MPB Foundation, we deal with many donors and people have a choice about where to give their hard-earned dollars. And so the speaker that day made the points about engaging people, being proactive as well as interactive. Our donors are our customers. So it's very important for my staff and myself to do our best to offer the greatest customer service that we possibly can. And I think that goes for any industry, no matter what business or occupation that you may find yourself involved in. So I just wanted to say, great job, Education Department, and keep these up. I think they're making a difference. Thank you.
I am Claudia Singletary. I am the Executive Assistant at Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and I participated in the February 17th, 2021 Workforce Wednesday, and the title of it was Confessions of a Word Nerd. I started off explaining that I am a word nerd. Part of it comes from having a grandmother who's an English teacher, but I also find it very important, even in the days now where we often just communicate with a few letters or something through text. But I think it's too important. There are two important reasons to care. One is that speaking well raises the level of the entire situation you're dealing with. It calls things to a higher standard. And the second reason is that it's all about how you want to present yourself. It's not about what everybody else does, but it's about how you want to present yourself. And we refer to the fact that colloquial language can be very different. People can say anything they want to within their own friend group, but when you're presenting to a group, it matters a lot more that you do come across professionally. I asked a group of people before we ever even had the class, what are some things that bothered them that speakers do, particularly on Zoom or other video conferencing? And the highest answer that I got was, and the problem is that we're so afraid of silence sometimes that we will fill it with and we should be content just to let it be quiet for a moment, because it's really not bad. Sometimes it's actually very effective to leave a few quiet moments. Then we talked about how another thing that can be irritating when you're listening to someone is when they do what I'm doing right now, when at the end of every sentence, they go up with their voice like they're asking a question. And I think people do that to try to get your attention because you feel like you're supposed to answer. But when you're listening to a presentation with that, it's very distracting. Then we talked about how there is an unnecessary preposition floating around that gets used a lot these days. And that is the word on, such as saying, I did that on yesterday, or we will do that on tomorrow. You just really don't need that on there. We did it yesterday, we will do it tomorrow. To me, that's something that's come up recently, but it's there. One of the biggest problems we have is subject-verb agreement. And we started out talking about, in very simple sentences, we can call it the S rule. There's one S. You would say, the girl shops, but the girls shop. Not the girls shop every day, the girl shops every day. You can find lots of applications for that. A speaker has said many things, but speakers have said many things. So you can remember that S rule for very simple sentences. It gets a little more complicated when you add prepositional phrases, but you can look that part up. Another problem that we mentioned is I and me, the overuse of I. People want to be very proper, so they'll say things such as the classic sentence I use, that is a picture of he and I. Well, that may sound very proper, but it's actually a misuse because you wouldn't say that is a picture of he or that is a picture of I. So take them apart and see what you would say, put it back together. Not that is a picture of he and I, that is a picture of him and me. I was really grateful to be a part of Workforce Wednesday. I think it has done a lot of good for a lot of people. One thing that being a part of it has done for me is making me more aware of these things that I talked about, as well as opportunities in the workforce in general in Mississippi. Something that helped our agency, I believe, is that from this presentation of Confessions of a Word Nerd, we formed a class with a department in the agency. And I think that has helped all of us to be more careful with our grammar and with how we speak. Now, to continue, you can certainly find some great websites that tell you about the most common grammatical errors made or errors made when speaking. And also, I'll recommend a wonderful book by Stephen Covey called A Style Guide. It has all kinds of things, words that we often mispronounce, and many things about grammar. So until next time, thank you.
Hi, My name is Earlene Russell Smith. I'm the District Director of Adult Ed here at Holmes Community College. I am so appreciative of Jasmine allowing me to come back to give a follow-up on the presentation that we did back in August on Workforce Wednesday. We discussed our partnership with Goodwill Incorporated. Holmes Community College provided Smart Start training classes for those individuals who are enrolled in their customer service training. I would like to gladly tell you all that through Workforce Wednesday, we have been engaged more with our community all across the district. We have also been able to establish additional partnerships for our students that we can be able to help assist them with the different barriers that they have. And we're also able to increase our visibility with different agencies across the state. Again, we appreciate Workforce Wednesday for providing that platform for us and to be able to share the good things that we're doing here at Holmes Community College. With me, I brought one of my students who is from Yazoo City, who would like to share her experiences in our adult education program. So if you would, please take your time and listen to Ms. Theodora Cook. Again, thanks again, Workforce Wednesday.
My purpose of coming to the GED program at Holmes Community College is to get my GED. There, I have been working on it for a long time. Even when I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I had taken the GED, but I did not pass it. So I came to Mississippi in 2003, and I continue on trying to get my GED. I was in class with Mr. Parker, and I worked there with him, and then Mrs. Higgins came on. And it has been a journey for me. And it has been, and it still is a struggle. But even in the midst of the struggle, I still try to run and hold on to obtain it because I know that I need it to, move on in life. And I do thank God for Mrs. Higgins because she has been a great encourager to me. There's times that I have called her crying and wanted to give up. But Mrs. Higgins would always tell me, Miss Theodora, you're not giving up. You're not going to give up. She said, because we're in this thing together. So I thank God for that. And also I wanted to, let those people out there, the young and the old, if you do not have your GED, I would like to encourage you to come and join me in this journey at Home Community College to receive your GED. And I promise you, it may be a struggle, but you will not regret it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to come here today and just kind of present on the great things that we're doing in adult education. My name is Bronwyn Robertson, and I'm a program specialist with the Office of Adult Education here at the Mississippi Community College Board, right next door to the Mississippi Public Broadcasting. And I just want to give you guys a shout out real quickly on how much I just adore and appreciate the partnership that we have and the opportunities that we've been allowed to come and highlight some things that we're doing and the partnership, for instance, between Holmes Community College and Goodwill that just was on one of your Workforce Wednesdays a couple of months ago. So thank you so much for that and for being such a strong partner with adult education. Behind me, you see Skill Up Mississippi, and the people will say, well, tell me about that. And I'll say, well, you actually do know about it. We kind of went with a Skill Up Mississippi initiative, or I should say the Skill Up Mississippi initiative back in 2019, just trying to get the word out that we are more than a GED program. We do provide GED and HiSET and competency-based diplomas. We do oversee adult education for the state of Mississippi. We service all 82 counties and all of our community colleges, as well as 3 K-12 systems, as well as the Department of Corrections. So we can service those that are 16 years of age or older that are not required to be in a K-12 system. We also provide services to those that do have a high school diploma. However, they might be maybe a little basic skills deficient in reading or math. They just need to increase or enhance those skills, maybe to connect to an employer.
And we also offer services for those that are English language learners. We have ESL classes. So if you want to learn more about a program near you, we do have an interactive map on our website at skillupmississippi.com. Just click on the county that you live in, and it's going to pop up the community college or the program that provides that service, along with the director's name, phone number, email, as well as their website. Some other initiatives that we have going on in adult ed is our My Best program, which is just, I think, one of the best kept secrets across our state. And that is where an individual can be working on a high school equivalency while they're in a training, whether it's workforce or a career technical education, where they're actually receiving college credit at the same time. So it's that accelerated approach. And how phenomenal is it for someone that's dropped out of high school to be able to walk into our doors in one of our adult education programs and be told, you know what, we've got pathways outlined for all of our sector strategies. We've got pathways outlined, and what are your goals, and what are some certificates and credentials that you can work on until you get to that goal, or can you go straight into that goal? And so it's not just about high school equivalency anymore. It's about connecting our students to employers. We also launched our online high school equivalency program in July. Very excited about that. The second component of that is starting up and getting students in there right now. And that is just an opportunity for those students that maybe work full time. Maybe they cannot make it to an adult education program, in a face-to-face setting. Maybe hybrid doesn't really work for them. They're still connected to an adult education program. They still have that contact person, but they're getting their high school equivalency online. So we've got that. It's called eDult. Very excited about that. We also have our Smart Start Pathway course, which that's been around forever. It's our job readiness course. That's where our students are learning about career exploration and financial literacy and getting connected to the one-stop center through Mississippi Works. And it's also where we're using the link to getting to work through MPB to show them those job sector strategies and the income and the training that it takes to get into those jobs and connect them to their employers. We also have college and career navigators that work with all of our students in transitioning. So you will see, I didn't really mention the three components or the three options that we do have for high school diplomas in Mississippi, which if I didn't mention it earlier, it's GED, HiSET, and the competency-based, because that's not all that we do. We do so much more than that. So I just invite you to check out our website, skillupmississippi.com. We also have a Learn More tab if you want to look at our blog, as well as success stories or our podcast. And I do appreciate this opportunity to be able just to come back and talk to you guys about what we do in adult ed, and would just love to be able to share more. And thank you so much to MPB for the partnership and just the opportunity for us to be able to come on here and just talk about some of the things that we're doing across our state. Thank you. Take care.
Good afternoon. My name is Mangle Shanks. I am the state coordinator for building healthy military communities. We usually say BHMC because it's a mouthful. Here at BHMC, we aim to better understand the unique challenges faced by our geographically service members across the state and also their families. We look at working with them across various areas of like readiness to make sure they're ready for deployment, also recruitment, resiliency, and also retention. Those are the four main areas that we look at. When we look at our mission, we try to align our mission with DOD, which is Department of Defense, total force fitness models that strives to better understand the resource challenges faced by our service member family and veterans. And by doing that, we are looking into each communities at this time across the state, and we're helping to develop some strategic partnerships throughout the state and developing task forces that will also help service members within a 50-mile radius to call into a particular task force and identify any community services on the ground where they live, because a lot of our geographically dispersed members are not able to get to an installation. And so we're trying to make sure here in Mississippi that any service member, family member, or veteran that needs service can access that serve within their local community. Also, some of the, each of us state coordinators, we operate now in nine states. We have developed what we call a state action plan, and each of our plan focus on what are the needs within our communities. Even though we cannot cover all of the needs, but we're able to cover those basic needs that we feel that will keep our service member families and veterans ready to perform. So my areas here in Mississippi is looks at behavioral health, suicide prevention, whatever we can do to help, suicide not to happen, because that's a very prevalent thing that's happening right now, especially during that has risen with the COVID-19. And so we're working toward that. Also, tobacco cessation. We know that smoking affects every organ in the body. And so anything we can do to help promote tobacco cessation, we do that. Physical activity. We know that our service members have to pass a test every year in order to remain active, in order to remain in the military. So we have to make sure that we keep them healthy. We also look at their nutritional needs. Believe it or not, that a lot of people feel that if you're in the service, that you have everything that you need. That means everything from money, everything as far as food. But believe it or not, there are food insecurities among our military population. And also, lastly, we're looking at employment. And so that what brings us here today to talk about employment, because some while back, I developed a partnership with the Mississippi Coding Academy with Mr. Herbert Brown. And he was able to develop a standalone class for the military. And right now, I want to pass that over to Mr. Brown so he can expound more details about the coding program.
Thank you, Dr. Shanks. My name is Herbert Brown. I am the senior instructor for the Mississippi Coding Academies. I've been with the Coding Academy since we launched in October 2017. Back in January of 2019, I had the pleasure of being able to present at the Workforce Wednesdays luncheon about the Mississippi Coding Academies and this new venture that we were taking on at the time, which was create an evening course for veterans and active duty members that we call Veterans Code. Veterans Code was sponsored in part by Comcast. They approached us about the idea of teaching digital literacy to veterans around the state of Mississippi. And we figured we could probably do one better, and that was to create a course for veterans on full stack web development. So basically everything that you and I see when we're on the web, all the buttons and the text and the images, and then how do we take data from the user, store it somewhere, and then render data back out to the end user. So we wanted to go a little bit further than digital literacy. And through meeting with Dr. Shanks from the Workforce Wednesday, we were able to connect to a pipeline of veterans. So she was very instrumental in helping us to be able to connect and reach out to veterans who ultimately served as the first class for Veterans Code. So we started with about 25 veterans in that year. We're actually on our third year now of running the evening course. And since then, we've been able to open up not only the evening course to non-veterans, but we've also been able to welcome veterans into our day course as well. So through the help of Dr. Shanks, we've been able to expand our programs and what we're doing. And so with that, I would like to highlight one of our graduates from the first Veterans Code course, Mr. Herman Cotton.
Thank you, Herb. My name is Herman Cotton. I am a 21+ year retired captain out of the U.S. Army and a recent graduate of the Mississippi Coding Academy. I tell you, this is such an opportunity for veterans to be able to learn coding and have an impact in their life as well as their community. I tell you, since I've left the veteran coding course, it has really been purposeful for me to pursue other dreams, ideals, and visions with the capabilities of with what I learned from Mississippi Coding Academy. So after graduating from Mississippi Coding Academy, I created several ideals. One of those ideals is a mobile app that's created for cultural awareness of the African-American influence throughout the state of Mississippi. You can look us up on an online site. We also have different promotional items. But the most proudest idea I have is a project that I did with my daughters. We were able to create a book series called Kazam. Kazam is about 4 kids who has superhero powers that actually can be emulated by everybody. But what's so special about it was because I went to Mississippi Coding Academy, I was able to add a mobile app to that project to kind of facilitate all the other components that will help promote and inspire others with. So with that, I'm so thankful for Dr. Shanks and Mr. Brown for partnershiping to allow me to have this opportunity to impact not just my life, but my community and all those around me. Thanks. Now I would like to pass it over to Dr. Shanks.
Wow, I would like to congratulate Mr. Cotton on his accomplishment and his achievements throughout this program. For him being a military, being in the military, that it was an awesome opportunity. I see that he has taken what he has learned in the class, and I'm sure that it would bless him and his family as well. I also would like to thank Mr. Brown for his partnership with the military to help provide jobs for the military service members. And I also would like to thank MPB for what they do for our community and for bringing organizations like Mr. Brown and BHMC together in order to promote our partnerships. I would like to share with other, if there's other employers out there that's looking to hire military, please connect with Work for Warriors. And I want to give you that number. It is 601-940-1677. They will help military in all branches. And just like BGMC, we are what we call a purple program. So we help all branches as well. And so does Work for Warriors. And so I also like to give you my number, which is 601-207-4407. And I'd like to give you my email. It's kind of long, but I'm going to say it kind of slow. And I'll spell my name. It's Mangle, M-A-N-G-L-E dot, and a L dot, Shanks, S-H-A-N-K-S dot, CTR@mail.mil. Thank you so much. Now I'll turn it over to Mr. Brown for closing comments. Thank you.
Yeah, so again, I would like to thank Mississippi Public Broadcasting for giving me the opportunity to highlight the work that we're doing here at the Mississippi Coding Academies. And through that, I was able to meet not only Dr. Shanks, but other individuals who were able to help us out in our task in building developers, young and seasoned, and improving the workforce conditions here in the state of Mississippi through the tech industry. So we're doing our part, trying to make the tech industry a little bit more inclusive, larger, and more thorough in the state of Mississippi. So I can't thank Mississippi Public Broadcasting enough for helping in that venture by giving me the opportunity to speak in front of some amazing individuals. So if you are interested in the Mississippi Coding Academies, there's more information about us on www.mscoding.org. You follow us there and see all kinds of information about what we're doing and how we're moving forward as an academy, which is, not only helping individuals learn the skill, but also helping them find jobs and also even helping companies out there who were looking for talent we're able to create this pipeline for them. So if you are from a business and you're looking for talent for your development team, or if you're someone who's interested in coding, don't know where to start, then please come and check us out. You'll probably have a story maybe as good as Mr. Cotton's. Maybe, but he's a great man, and really great story and the work that he put in. So please check us out, www.mscoding.org. And again, one last time, thank you so much, Mississippi Public Broadcasting, for giving us the opportunity to meet.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Collins, and I work for the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services. I am the regional manager with business development for the agency. I just kind of wanted to give you an update. I know in October, you guys heard from our project search department, Faye Culpepper, who directs that for us. She came and talked to you guys about what's going on with that great program. Kind of just wanted to give you an update there. Since our program started at UMMC in Jackson in 2018, we have had 100 interns that have graduated that program. 59 of those interns have gained employment. Currently, 5 of those interns are in internships that will lead to employment opportunities. And all of those individuals, of course, as Faye alluded to before, those are individuals with disabilities. And so we are super excited about that program at the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation. As we shared with you guys prior, all those services that we provide and all those opportunities are for individuals with disabilities who are seeking employment. Those individuals, those interns, those are our young adults. Those are our seniors, young adults that are exiting high school and are excited about starting their careers. And so through the Project Search program, we have 13 sites statewide, all across the state. We have them from North Mississippi all the way to Southern Mississippi. We are looking to expand that program, and some possible sites that Faye and her group have looked into and are in conversation with actually currently to expand for the 2021-22 school year, starting off August of 2022. They're looking at starting in Columbus Air Force Base, which and the Keesler Air Force Base, possibly, Merritt Health in Natchez, Rush Hospital in Meridian. And they're also having conversations about other facilities, hospitals, manufacturers, possibly, but we're not quite ready to mention those just yet. Quickly, I just kind of wanted to share with you about one of our instructors at one of our locations in Project Search shared with us at one of our hospitals. One of our interns was working with a patient in a room, and the nurse came in and was trying to communicate with the patient that it was time to go home, that they were going to be discharged. The patient did not speak English. They were a Spanish speaking person, and they were trying to communicate that it was time to go home, but the person was not understanding and they did not want to leave. Our intern, however, was bilingual and they were a Spanish speaking person. They were able to step into that situation and to communicate with that person, and learned that that person did not want to leave until their son was able to come pick them up, because they didn't want to go to the parking lot to go to the vehicle with just a gown on. They wanted to wait until their clothes could come and so that they could leave with some dignity. And so that was just a really win-win situation. Our intern was able to be a liaison for that person, to interpret and to have their wishes known. And so, that was just one of instances where our intern was able to provide a great service. And honestly, they were offered a job. So just kind of wanted to share that testimonial with you. Although that's a great program, we have other programs at Mississippi Department of Rehab Services. We have an internship program that Josh is going to share with you.
All right, thank you, Heather. My name is Josh Woodward. I'm the Director of Business Development here at Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services. And like Heather mentioned, we have many programs that support our mission of helping individuals with disabilities find employment. And you know, as a business development director and my team, my business development team throughout the state of Mississippi, you know, our mission is to help educate businesses on what disability is, to not be afraid of that, to understand what assets these people bring to the table, so that you know, we can create a more diverse workforce, a more reliable workforce, a more well-rounded workforce. And so over the past number of years, we've worked to establish programs that benefit both the client that we serve, but also the business. And one of those that Heather mentioned just a second ago is our adult and student internship program. We have the ability through our funding to allow a person to come to work for an employer and for MDRS to actually cover the income and the workers' comp while that person is with the business. That does a couple of different things for all parties involved. For the business who may be on the fence, who may not understand disability, it allows them to experience this person without necessarily having to jump headfirst into the deep end of the pool. It allows them to be able to work with the person and train the person the way they would want them to be trained without having to commit to hiring the person on the front end. For the client, it allows us to put them into a work environment, allows them to essentially try out for that job, allows them to prove themselves for that job, so that they can go in and, you know, really make a mark on the business and earn that position. And so what you end up seeing, or what you end up having there, is you have a coming together. You have this business who essentially kind of gets the scales removed from their eyes, and they see this person not for the disability they may have, but for the person who they are. You also have this individual with a disability, our client, who is getting put into a workforce, and they're able to work and use their hands or use their skills to earn something that maybe they've never been given that opportunity to do so with. So a couple of things about our internship program, though, is we can go up to 320 hours without blinking an eye. You know, the way that number kind of came about was when we first started, we had a summer program for students, and, you know, 320 hours is 8 40-hour weeks. We don't have to stick to just 8 40-hour weeks. You know, some people need a little bit of an adjustment. Some people can only work 20 hours. Some people can only work 30 hours, maybe even less. It's fully customizable to the needs of the client as well as the needs of the business. Another thing that's been a recent development for us is that we have started pay matching in our adult internship program. What that means is, well, let me step back. In the past, we paid minimum wage. So if someone came in and they were doing XYZ job and the standard beginning salary for that job was maybe $10 an hour, we were still only paying, you know, $7 or $8 an hour. We realized that as a hindrance to individuals taking the opportunity. And a lot of our businesses were compelling us to, you know, they wanted to pay them the beginning rate of salary. And so we changed some things around, and now we offer whatever the beginning salary is for that position that person's trying out for. And so what we really have done there is we've kind of eliminated any barriers for the client, the individual with a disability, to say no to wanting to do a job tryout. And the business is getting to train this person, experience this person without having to put a ton of skin in the game on the front side. And so what we're doing here is just trying to mate the two together. And, you know, in years past, I would say we had just a handful of internships that landed towards employment. And I would say now, and I think Heather would back me up on this, that the majority of our employments come through our internship program. And so, you know, if you've never worked with disability before, if you don't understand it, if you're, you know, you hate to say the word scared, but if you're scared of it, you know, definitely reach out to us, talk to us, let us kind of hold your hand through that process and educate you a little bit. And let's see if there's anybody out there that has that career goal of, you know, what you do in mind. And let's see if we can pair the two together, and maybe we'll use our adult internship program to, you know, help make a match there and help you with some of your employment needs. So once again, thank y'all for having us. It's a pleasure to be back with MPB. We're thankful for any opportunity to spread the mission that we've laid out with, helping individuals with disabilities live more independently. And if you need anything, you can contact us at businessinfo@mdrs.ms.gov. Thank you so much.